Hey everyone. In light of all the recent fires that we have going on in our state and all the people that are being forced to evacuate and move out of their homes in the line of all these fires, I started thinking about first aid and first aid for me and for my horse. I do a lot of camping, I do a lot of trail riding, and I would like to be prepared or better prepared if something should happen. I have first aid kits that are in my trailer, I have them in my barn, I have them in my house. But what I didn't have is have them all in one place. So what I did is I spent a couple of days gathering all the items that I do have, looking them over, getting rid of expired items, adding to the items that I had, and kind of expanding what I had on hand here at my house so that I would be better prepared if an accident happened should I be on a trail ride or a camping trip. And one of the biggest things I wanted to do is consolidate everything and get it all into one place. So what I did is I found an old duffel bag in our closet that we don't really use anymore. It was the perfect size to fit everything in. Now there are a lot of first aid kits that you can purchase online. I looked at them. A lot of them have a lot of really neat stuff or a lot of really important things in there, but some of them were a little bit too much for what I needed and some were just not quite enough. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make my own. So I've had this first aid kit forever, for probably 15 years. It has traveled in my car, it has traveled in my show trunks. I bought it when I was a Girl Scout leader. I bought it at Costco because it was quite a good setup. It's got a hard shell. Inside it has very comprehensive first aid information and supplies. Over the years, I have replaced a few items like the pads here and some tape. The tape kind of gets a little funky after a while. And I've just gone through, in fact, the last couple of days I went through, consolidated. I had another first aid kit that I bought from Target that was kind of a cheap one. So I kind of combined both of them into this case because I feel like it's a better place to hold all this stuff. It has scissors, tongue depressors, eye wash, sting relief, antibiotic ointment. I do need to put aspirin in here and Tylenol. I have Motrin here, and this is like a Benadryl, I believe. And I would like to get actual Benadryl and put it in here, but I will do that before my next trip. They also have in here, they have some ice packs, cold packs, and hot packs. So it's kind of a neat little case. So I feel comfortable with this for me, and this is a good thing that if anything should happen, any type of, acute emergency, I could pretty much take care of it. The next thing that I had is I wanted to put something together for my horse. And all of us have one of these or have seen one of these. These are the wine holders you get from the grocery store. But what I like about them is they've got the handles, but they've got these cool little compartments. So in these compartments, I put together, I have cold packs, I have vet wrap, I have a stethoscope, I have a thermometer, I have eye wash, I have a betadine surgical scrub or antiseptic sudsing cream. I have a tube of Banamine paste. Now, I did notice when I got all this stuff out that this was expired, so I have another tube coming from my vet. I have some liniment. I have just a basic antiseptic spray, another saline spray, and a triple antibiotic wound ointment. You can get different brands. These are just the brands that I had at my local tack store. I'm sure everybody has their own favorite brand, but I thought this was a good enough start for having just a quick first aid kit. I know there's a lot of things that you can add to it. In fact, I will add bute paste. I like to have a tube of bute paste on hand because the powder is not always something that you can administer in all situations, and it's nice to have a backup. So here are some other things I put in here. I put some towels in here. You always need towels. I have a roll of sterile cotton in here. This is good for wrapping legs if the horse gets any type of cuts on their legs. I do have my big container of Butte, but I'm looking around my house to see if I can't find a smaller container and label it, just because this is kind of big and awkward to be carrying around. And then I also have my standing wraps. I like these. I like to use standing wraps, and I think it's really important for people to learn how to put on the standing wraps before you get into an emergency situation. There are a lot of YouTube videos on how to put on the standing wraps, so I think it would be a good idea if you sat down and maybe watched it and maybe practiced. I like to do the no bow wraps just because I don't want to have to think about doing any further damage after my horse already has, you know, a cut or something on their leg. I don't want to have to worry about wrapping them too tight and doing further damage. I have them prepped here. This is what I do. I prep them with the wrap that goes around. It's easier in an emergency just to jump on it, roll it around the leg, and you get a good wrap that way. So this is kind of what I've put together for an emergency and have it all in one area. I know that it's not perfect. It's not complete. I'm sure there are other items I could have in my little first aid kit here, but this I think is a good start. If anybody has any suggestions, I would love to hear it, and put it in the comments, please, because I'm always looking for good suggestions and good hacks. Now, there are a couple of things that I really would like to add to my first aid kit. One of them is a farrier's rasp. That way, if I have a horse on trail that loses a shoe or gets a loose shoe that needs to be removed, I'll have a farrier's rasp, and I want to get a farrier's nippers, and then that way I could remove the shoe safely before it causes any further damage to my horse's foot or hoof. And another thing that I would like to get is the Garmin InReach. The Garmin InReach is a satellite communication device that if you do a lot of backcountry riding, as I know a lot of us do, or if you do riding where there's no cell service, this is a way for you to be able to reach somebody if there's an emergency. You can also pinpoint your location, and that way somebody can, that way you can be helped out in a very serious situation if you're somewhere that you don't have cell service. The other nice thing about the Garmin InReach is it does have a subscription that goes with it, but you can do it month to month, and you don't have to have a yearly subscription. You can do it just month to month. So if you know you're going to go camping up, say, in the high Sierras, you can just turn it on for the 30 days and then just be done with it. And then another thing that I would like to add to this kit is something for snake bites. We all ride in areas where there are rattlesnakes, lots of rattlesnakes, and I did talk to my vet. The vet said that typically when you're on trail, where your horse gets bit is the legs, the underbelly, and the groin. And if that should happen, your horse will be fine. You just need to get off the trail safely and call a vet immediately. The venom isn't what they worry so much about, because the horses are so large and the amount of venom that they do get is not a lot. But what they do worry about is infection at the bite site, because there's a lot of bacteria in the snake's mouth, and that's a bigger problem in most cases than the actual venom. But horses do get bit on the face, not typically on the trail unless they're grazing somewhere where they shouldn't. If they do get bit on the face, then there's the possibility of swelling and collapsing their airway, and so that's why it's important to have something on hand that you could keep that airway open, and also administer some type of Benadryl medicine. I want to talk to my vet about that, because I don't think that our human Benadryl, you would just have to shove a bunch of pills down them because of their size. So I'd like to get something that would work in an emergency case with snake bites. So I hope when you watch this video that it kind of gives you some ideas of where your first aid is and how you want to put it together. Maybe you need to clean it out, get rid of some things that are expired, add to it, take away from it. But I think the most important thing is to make something that is easy to just grab and go when you want to go on a day ride or go on a camping trip. And that was my whole goal with this, is just to get something all consolidated, put together, so that I can take it with me. And if you have anything that you want to add to what I have, please put it in the comments. I'm always open to learning new things, and I hope to see you guys on the trail soon. Bye.